Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to say thank you for those who take their time to support our channel. In one way or the other, this channel has stood the way it is because of you guys, and I want to say thank you very much. If you are watching for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. Please continue supporting us. I have always maintained to you that Raila Amolo Odinga seems to have boxed William Ruto and his administration into a tight corner. They are breathing hard, they are trying to look for a way out, but everything is crumbling down. At first, they had given us a very brave face, condemning and trivializing what Raila was advocating for. I remember at some point they were asking what would be the end game of all the demonstrations. In fact, according to them, the demonstration would only mean going round and round and then coming back without achieving anything. But if the letter that the administration wrote to the diplomatic mission, the international community and the United Nations is anything to go by, this administration is really suffering, and they are now inviting the foreign masters to help them. That the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs of the Republic of Kenya presents its compliments to all diplomatic missions, United Nations agencies, and international organizations based in Kenya, and has the honor to inform as follows: that on or about 13th March 2023, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the opposition leader, called for nationwide protests whose central purpose intended having his supporters march to the seat of Kenya's presidency, State House, oust the constitutionally elected president of the Republic of Kenya, and cause himself installed as president. If there is one of the most embarrassing moments I have witnessed in our nation, it is this one. That the Ruto administration can stoop this low and condescend to a level of lying in broad daylight. You see, I have always known this administration to have a penchant of lying and hoodwinking Kenyans, but I did not know that they can go to a level of even trying this machination to the international community. The international community were all here during the campaigns, during the elections. They knew and they know what is happening. So in their first paragraph, because that seems to me to be the preamble of the whole letter. The letter is long. We're only going to look at certain paragraphs to know the intention and the intended purpose of this letter. So in their first paragraph, they're saying that Raila Amolo Odinga called for those protests and the demonstrations to charge his supporters to go and stage a coup, ouster President Ruto, and then install himself as the president. Nothing can be further from the truth, because we all know that Raila Amolo Odinga gave the irreducible minimums and the intentions why he wanted to go for the demonstrations. In fact, he gave them a 2-week ultimatum, but they thought this is just a joke. One of the things that Raila is talking about is sitting at the center of the ordinary mwananchi. It also formed part of William Ruto's campaigns. Raila says that the cost of living is just too high. And Raila is saying that you must reduce the cost of living. And Raila has got a solution. He's mentioning that the previous regime had initiated a certain subsidies on electricity, on maize flour, on fuel. But William Ruto abandoned all these subsidies. And Raila says that this is part and parcel of the problem, and is suggesting to William Samoei Ruto to ensure that he brings back the subsidies. And it tells them that there is massive corruption in the country that William Ruto must deal with. So for them to state that Raila wants to ouster him and install himself is a total lie and an element of guilt that is eating in him. So ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, the letter is very long and it is something that you have all seen. William Samoei Ruto is calling upon the international community and the diplomats that are in Kenya and all the UN bodies to take action against Raila Amolo Odinga. Something tells me that the international community abandoned William Ruto for some times. That is the reason he's coming to remind them to deal with Raila Amolo Odinga. In the past and on record is when Raila Amolo Odinga had planned for a parallel Jamhuri celebrations in Jacaranda. William Ruto pleaded with the international community and Raila Amolo Odinga was invited to Washington DC when there was that US African summit. And this gave him time to execute his mandate on that day when he presided over a Jamhuri celebration. But since then, Raila seems to have remained obstinate and adamant, and he has refused to be manipulated by the international community. It seems that there is someone, I believe there is a foreign body, a parallel foreign body, who came up and told Raila Amolo Odinga that here is the result, because Raila has confessed that they did what is called ethical hacking and they know the results. So ever since Raila was given those results and the whistleblower came up with those facts that he won by 8 million votes against William Ruto's 5 million votes, Raila has become mad and he has refused to be manipulated. So William Ruto is feeling this very heat and is calling upon the foreign masters, those who installed him to power. He's telling them, kindly, please, help me. I'm despondent and desperate. Because if the international community had not abandoned him, why would he remind them? It would be very easy. These people would just tell Raila, please do this. But it seems that they are also watching. There is an argument from another school of thought that William Ruto has failed to obey his part of the bargain. The GMO, as they agreed, is not working, courtesy of the position that Raila Amolo Odinga took, and Raila led other supporters of this, the Catholic Church, even the farmers. And it seems that the USA and the international bodies are not very happy that William Ruto cannot pursue the cause as they agreed. The LGBTQ is something that has remained a thorn in the flesh because William Ruto has continued to present himself as a man of God. And so they brought it through the judiciary, but even this is not working. So it seems that there is a standoff between the international community, especially those who gave him the powers, and William Ruto himself. Number two, William Ruto is accusing the supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga of destroying property. And I know why this is happening. He knows very well that all the international media covered this. The BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, Sky Sport, they reported just how the police was provoking peaceful Kenyans and how the police tear gassed and beat Raila Amolo Odinga and the convoy. The vehicle that belongs to Raila's daughter Winnie Odinga was smashed mercilessly without any reason because the protesters were peaceful and peaceable. So they want to shift this blame, knowing very well that they have been they are in the limelight internationally for using extra force. And they know that this is something that is unacceptable because Raila had informed the police and they were demonstrating according to the dictates of the law because there is freedom of picketing. I also believe that William Ruto went ahead of Raila Amolo Odinga because there were calls from other supporters of Raila to go to write to the ICC, the International Criminal Court based in Netherlands, to invite them to see just how William Ruto is using force against his supporters. So he went ahead because he knew very well that this is a cause that Raila Amolo Odinga is pursuing. So he wants the international community to intimidate Raila with the travel ban, to intimidate Raila with declaring that he is a persona non grata, so that Raila cannot move to the west because Kenyans go for treatment abroad, for leisure abroad, they have investments abroad. So you want these people to start intimidating Raila so that he stops, because Raila said that it will now be 2 days in a week, and this is something that is really going to strangle William Ruto. But let me tell you something. These foreign masters will not agree, because I also know that maybe China and Russia cannot agree to this kind of nonsense. Maybe the USA and Britain can, but China will not. When they call upon Raila Odinga to stop this, Raila Odinga will be asking one question, and that's why I'm saying that William Ruto might not know the Pandora's box that was opening. When they call Raila to, maybe, because what William Ruto also wants is a kind of handshake. He wants the international community to come and talk to Raila so that they can maybe shake hands, they can talk on a round table. But Raila has insisted that please open this server so that we stop this, because it seems Raila is not interested in a handshake. He's just telling them, open this server so that we can, put this behind us. William Ruto seems to be very helpless. This is what he's telling the international community. He had the police. He has tried to intimidate Raila. They have tried everything, but Raila is like a Trojan horse. He's moving ahead. So he's despondent and desperately calling for them, tafadhalini, kujeni mnisaidie, come and help me please. I've always told you that behind that brave facade lies a very fearful government, because they know that they are losing. Even if Raila Odinga was not given a chance to go to the CBD, they have lost, according to their own confession, 2 billion Kenyan shillings. You know what will happen now that demonstrations are going for 2 days in a week. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a very embarrassing letter, but it does not help, because Raila is calling upon the international, Raila even himself had called upon the international community to come and open the server. So both of them have now written a letter, but we want to see how things will transpire. I don't know what you think, but this is my take.